One mini world, one creation dream.
Just remember that in the description you can find the tools for any of my videos, so just go and access to the description. You will find all the list of the things that we use here and a lot of useful things, okay? Also, don't forget to subscribe. If you can subscribe, that will help us out to get to better or to more people and to improve the channel. And also, if you can, please activate the notifications. With that, you won't mess up or you won't lose any of the classes, okay? Objectives for this class, we are not going to do too much. First, we are going to create a game plan, you know, the structure for being able to have a clear idea about what you are going to learn during this class and what are the objectives for creating the map. We are going to set up the rules and we are going to cover the character design. As the main focus of this minicamp, I'm going to set it up as a shooter, okay? So I want to teach you how I create my characters, how do I design. You are going to see in real life and the design for a new character, okay? So let's start with the game plan now, guys. And let's start with the brief. Guys, remember this is like the short information that you should have for creating a good map, okay guys? Before you start creating, before you start experimenting, it's better to have a clear idea what you have to do, what you are going to do. And for this, it's very important to check the screen, okay? Remember, this is something that I advise you to do. You can use your computer, you can use a book or something to take notes of it. But it's information that you can check whenever you are creating something, so you can go back and say, oh, I was doing this by this or by this reason. So let's start with the different things that you need to take note with. First of all, we need to get a project name, okay? So in this case, the name of my game is Snow Brawlers. It's very easy, it's because it's going to be a winter game. First, we need to get a reference that is going to be in winter. And second one, about what we have to do, as this is a shooter in which actually you can use or you have to use snowballs and different things to get into the enemy's base. Well, Brawler is a term that can help out, okay? Don't worry, sometimes at the beginning you don't have the name, the final name for your map. So if you don't have a final name, just do the next thing. Take the time and put like a nickname for now, then you can change that later, okay? The map gender for the map that I'm going to teach you to do is a shooter, a first-person shooter, and that's something that you can change. You can do, of course, a different game because in this minicamp the theme is winter games, so you don't have to do any specific game gender, but I highly advise you to follow the things that I'm going to teach you, so you are going to learn better. Next, we got the theme, and it's what is your map about. In this case, and I put a lock on it, it's not negotiable, so it's going to be a winter games, okay? Whatever you do, it needs to be related with winter, it needs to be related with games, and probably will need to be related with Christmas, so don't change that, otherwise probably your map is going to be rejected for this minicamp, because the main theme or the main idea of this minicamp is to create a winter game, okay? Then we got the art style, guys, very important. Remember that the art style is not only the visual part, it's also the sound and it's also the story and the concept that goes behind and beyond your map, okay? So the art style, in my case, for the map, for the model map that I'm going to teach you, it's, in my case, Vikings. That's going to be where the map takes place. It's going to be Christmas too. The art is going to be in retro voxel art. Voxel, guys, is the same as a pixel, but is on 3D. So whenever you are trying to do a pixel art in 3D, that means that is voxel art, not pixel art. Then we are going to go to sports, because the game is a shooter related to sports and medieval art. And this is going to be reflected once more in the sounds, in the creatures, in the skills text, in the character's name, in the character creation. So very important. Then remember that you need to write your story. That's very important. In my case, I already write it, but it's too big to write it here, to put it into the resume that I'm going to show you. But the story is that the The map takes place in a village, and a Viking village is a stadium, and it's a sport that is celebrated in winter, where the different characters that are Vikings that has the flesh of different gods, Nordic gods, they are going to get a contest to be or to get the glory of the gods. In the contest or in the sport, and the players have to compete to reach the enemy goal, and they are going to have two different times. First, they need to construct a shelter, and then they need to be able to enter into the enemy shelter. That's the story behind the background story about my map. Of course, you need to write yours. That's going to give you a lot of ideas to have better gameplay. I know, as an example, Kenzie is very good writing stories and creating stories. So, that it will be it, okay? Alright, so for the hello there, I didn't do too much, Taylor. I just showing the different information about the minicamp, okay? Now, let's continue with the target group, guys. Once more, this is very important because with this you will know what you can design and you can know for your target group. In my case, or let me explain once more what is a target group. The target group is who is going to play your game. Of course, the main idea that you can get is tell, okay, everyone is going to play my game. And that is something that is completely wrong, guys. If you put all the people is going to play my game, probably you are going to get completely lost because not all the people like the same things, okay? To be generic in marketing or games is going to make your game to be completely forgettable, completely odd. So be specific on this one, okay? So the example that I always put is imagine that you are trying to create not a game, a song, okay? And the song that you are trying to create, it's going to be a song that is, well, created for rocker people that likes the rock a lot. If you create a song for rocker people that is going to be, I don't know, and you are going to create a song with salsa, with Latin music, probably the rockers are not going to consume it. They don't even going to look for it, okay? So if you want to back rocking people and ask for rocker people to buy your song, you need to create a rock song, okay? That's the main idea. It sounds very easy, but you need to apply that for the game. In my case, as I'm designing the map, I always design the map for you guys. My target group is going to be minicamp students from America, Asia, and Spain with intermediate level of map design creation. I know for sure by metrics that the age that you are with is in between 13 years and 24 years, okay? That's my target group. You need to change yours. You need to select yours. Then we got something very important that I always advise you to do. Probably you haven't seen it reflected in my map. You cannot see that yet because this time it was like very fast in between the two minicamps. But for this specific part, guys, for this specific size or sorry, not size, item or idea, it's how you are going to get money from your map, real money, okay? So in my case, I going to do a random loot for it. You can have a 60% chances to get an epic loot, 30% chance to get a common loot, and 10% chances to get a normal loot, okay? That's going to be in my situation. You need to check yours, what is going to give you the best way to get money from your maps. I always use a portable store, I always use ads to get that money, and I always use custom skins. That depends on you guys. Remember to take the time to fill this information. You can take a screenshot of it, okay? Alright, until the moment you have any questions. I see that Mr. Noob is here, so welcome Mr. Noob. Alright, so... Alright, so... Now, guys, this is going to be the part that you always know. Remember that this most important thing for me, apart from this, that this is going to tell you what you have to do, or is going to be a guide for creating your map. Remember to take the time to think about the differentials. That's why I put this category in a different level, because this is what is going to map your map to be different and to be more enjoyable and to be like not focus. Let's say what that's why your players are going to know this your game and they are going to know you better. Okay, so it's the differential, guys. I put a light bulb on it because it's the ideas. This is the creative part about your map. First, think in what is going to make your map different from others, what is going to make your map unique. That's the idea, okay? So the differentials here in my map, and this is completely different to yours, you have to think about your map, is first that I'm going to get a character design. You are going to have different classes, probably you are going to have this differential too. You are going to have two different stages, the building and destroyable one, and it's going to have an advanced scripting. That last one depends of you, depends of your skills. Not all the people is going to have the same skills. As an example, you can be very good at creating miniatures, you can be very good at creating the scenario, or you can be very good in creating a story. So this is going to be the differential that depends on you, okay? And very important, guys, remember that this is what also makes your game completely different from others. So from most of the shooters that is only people shooting each other, we are going to have these two things and the classes, okay? That most of the maps in Multiverse are not going to have, okay? All right. So let me see here. Just one moment. I need to check here if the streaming is working fine. You know, sometimes we can get some problems with the streaming. Just 1 second, we are going to... All right, so now on here, guys, very important, this is the next part, and remember to take the time. This is very important, guys. This is what is going to make your map probably more successful. And remember that every one of the every part of the differentials needs to be valuable for your players. And also remember this: if you want to get ideas for your map, for the differentials or for the innovation, remember that in the class number 2 of the minicamp about school simulator, we cover a full class about how to be creative, how to generate ideas, how to innovate in games. So you can check that class and you will get a lot of new information. Now, moving to the final part is the scenario, guys. The scenario are like the technical part of your map. Remember, my map size is 63 by 33 of size. Very important, guys, you can use whatever size you want, but my highly or recommended size is that it needs to be less than 64 by 64. Of course, it's the playable area, not the full scenario. It's just where the area where the players are going to interact, okay? And very important, in some games you can create multiple areas, so it doesn't matter if your map is going to be too big, but the important thing is that per playable part, as I mean per level or per stage, you got maxi size, which is going to work better for Multiverse. The players that can play my game is going to be 10 players, probably this is going to be same as you. My characters are going to be Vikings, blessed by Nordic gods, and the win conditions, that is very important, guys, this is very important for me, is enter into the enemy goal to win. The playable time is going to be between 3 to 6 minutes, and it's not going to be limited, so you can extend that time more. And of course I got another rules as an example. One rule is that once you die you have to wait 10 minutes, and that's a lot of other things, but they are going to be changeable for your map. Okay, so during a relaxing time, remember this, yesterday we covered this part completely on detail, I mean it's how you can create your map. But in general, an overview about our game plan is how our map is going to be located and built, okay? So what you see on here is the playable area, okay? The playable area is apart from the initial setup area, which you have a lobby and you have a shopping area, okay? The lobby, you know already for what it is. It's just for having enough time to wait for the other players to join. The shopping area is where the players can get some items before the game starts, and the playable area is where your players are going to start. Once more, the playable area needs to be less than 64 by 64 by my recommendation. Of course, you can modify that. But after many minicamps and game designers, we find out that that is the best size that you can use to create your maps. It's going to be more fast and more efficient, and it's going to also avoid a lot of bugs. Okay, guys? And going in detail in our map, let me just change this a little bit here. Okay, so now you will be able to see all the parts. So this is how the map is designed, guys. As you see, we have two different sides. We have a red team on the left and our blue team on the right, okay? But the area is the same, it's like a flip it, it's like a mirror. And we have like different areas. First we got in white, the neutral area, or in gray. That is where the players can fight together. Okay, this area, I got it covered by ice. That's the main thing. It doesn't matter how you design this part, the gray part, that you can see here as a neutral area. It's up to you, okay? It's the part that you can modify as you want it, okay? And this is not going to belong to any player, it's just a neutral area where the player can fight on the combat stage. Then we got the base area, okay? It's where the players can build the actual shelter, the actual snow shelter, guys, okay? And very important, this is the area that's why I put a hammer in here. It's the only area where the players can build things. So they can put walls on here, they can put doors on here, you know, because the game has two stages. They build in a stage and they fight in a stage. Then we got the team spawn. That means that when a player dies or when a player is teleported to the game, is going to be teleported to a random location inside any of those areas. Of course, this is going to be just for red team and this is going to be for blue team. Okay? Once more, this is an area that is not buildable. The only area that you can build with is the team base that is going to be here. Then we got this specific area that is the purple one, that is the goal. Remember that the target of the team is to enter into the enemy gold, okay? But in the building stage, they won't be able to exit from the area. When the game is in combat stage, they will be able to try to access to the enemy fortress and enter here to capture the fortress, okay? Once more, there is not playable areas that are the areas that are going to be only touched by the player at the beginning, okay? That's how our map is going to work. Let me come back to the screen. Yeah. So that's how our map is going to work in about the construction. Remember yesterday, we learned all the details about how to construct this. We learned the basics, so if you missed that part, just check the yesterday class, okay? And if you cannot find it, tomorrow I will submit the tomorrow, and in between tomorrow and the next day I will submit the resumes for that, okay? All right, so for G4, okay, Gauxing, I think I pronounced it right. For Gauxing, if you mean the Photoshop part, the sites for be able to create the thumbnail, okay, don't do it in Photoshop, okay? Of course you can use Photoshop. What you have to do is you have to do the normal thumbnail, just left click on it and open with Paint, okay? And what you have to do is to copy and paste with the same sites, because if you change the sites a little bit and if you even export direct from Photoshop, it's not working. I already tried that. It is giving me errors, okay? Yes, you can do as much game modes as you wanted. Alright, so now let's move to the next part, and it's going to be the game stage, guys. Okay, so stage is like a part, a time that you are going to have some specific task inside the game, okay? Alright, so the first task that we always place, and this is made more for get some money from your games, is the shopping stage, okay? What you are going to be able to do in shopping stage? The only thing that you can do is buying things. Of course, this is not implemented yet in my game, but we are going to implement it. How much is going to last? I highly advise you not to get more than 1 minute, because if you do more than 1 minute, it's going to be boring for the players, okay? Um, Very important, remember as always, as every frame that we made on triggers, the stage is going to have an ID. The ID for the building stage is 0. The ID for the for the shopping stage is 0. For the building stage is 1. And for the combat stage, the ID is the number 2. What are going to be the rules for the shoppings? You cannot build, you don't have any object, you cannot kill, and the store is going to be available for you to buy items before the game starts, okay? Now, that is going to be the first thing that you need to take in control. Remember that this is going to be the controller, the brain of our game. The second stage is going to be the building stage. How much is going to last? 1 minute and 30 seconds, or 1 minute depending on your game. Don't do more because the players are going to be a little bit messed up. And what are going to be the rules in this stage? First, the players can build up objects, or let's be more specific, walls. They can build the walls inside the game, but the players cannot kill, cannot receive damage, they cannot reload the guns, and most important, they cannot exit from the base. That means that in this stage, if the player tries to exit from the room, from wherever where they are located, they are not going to be able to, okay? That's very important, guys. Now, the inventory that you can use for this one is going to have the basic construction blocks, is going to have an item to upgrade the blocks, and an item to downgrade the blocks, okay? Once more, that's going to be the second stage. After the 1 minute and 30 seconds end, we are going to have the combat stage, the last stage. The rules for this one is you are going to have the objects, the items that the class that you choose with is going to have. The damage is going to be activated. You can kill other players and you can exit from the base. Another important thing is that you can reload your guns. In my case, it's a snowball fighter, so you can reload the snowballs. And most important, in this one, you cannot exit the playable area. That means that if you get kicked out or pushed out of the game playable area, you are going to die. And you cannot build, okay? In this stage, you cannot place blocks. Now, for your inventory, your character is going to have a main weapon, an active skills, the snowballs, and the passive skill. And this is going to last as long as you want it. It depends. As soon as the player enters to the enemy gold, this is going to be end, okay? So taking a deeper look, and this is very important, it's how our menu or our inventory is going to be composed. Okay, remember in MiniWork, your inventory is going to be kind of the main menu that you can use to play. So in the stage 0, we are not going to have more items, more important items. In my case, I always place this for the monetization, that is going to be the coins, the item that the players use to buy things. The store, remember that I always place a portable store where the player can actually access to the internal store, and the dev store that you can access from the menu. And this is going to be repeated on the different stage. For the building stage, on the first and the second inventory slot, you are going to have the block level 0, that means the basic block to build, the upgrade icon or item, and the downgrade item, okay? And you are not going to have any kind of buff. Then when we go to the combat stage, we are going to have the weapon, we are going to have a skill, an active skill, and we are going to have snowballs to be able to attack the enemy, and our passive skill is going to be activated, okay? As always, we set up this. Alright, so once more, guys, this is the game plan. So once more, I here have my lobby, which is where the players appear. The playable area that you check already is the same thing that I showed you before. And the building or the shopping area, okay? Once more, the neutral area, the player base, the spawn area, and the goals here. So as you see, the map is not that complicated about how to construct, but we are going to start setting up the rules, okay? So to set up rules, guys, once more you go to access to developer tools here, and you are going to change the first thing, that is the word setting. So be sure that you put a fixed timer on it, and what you are going to do is just to change the skybox, okay? So if you change this, your sky is going to change once more. As an example, you can get a different look of the sky with this. As you see, it's going to have a different look. Once more, I always mention some 3 examples. So as an example, this can be a post-apocalyptic sky or zone. If you play on nighttime, this probably could be a space or a special game or a mystic game. And if you play midnight time or just noon, it looks more like a medieval game, okay? Of course, as I am playing in winter, I highly advise you to get a colder look like this one. In winter, remember the area is white and the sky is blue and the sound is very big. Okay, so just play around with it. Just try to fit what is much better for your game. As an example, this is not going to look good for my game in this case. And remember, you will need an extra illumination system depending of the setup that you place. Okay, this is what is going to look better for me. It looks like a winter. And also remember, if you need to place some specific illumination, remember that we covered that in a class. We covered in the class about horror escape game, and we get in the second class and the third class and a specific illumination system. So if you play at nighttime here, you will be able to place illumination around some specific areas. Okay, now that you get this, remember with the weather you can change different things. As an example, you can have a more like a fightable look or different look with rain, also with thunders and all the other things, but I highly advise you to get it in sunny because the lag that you can produce with rainy is kind of difficult. And also let me show you another thing, guys. Depending of how you construct your map, as an example, if you place your map in a specific height, you will be able to do some cool things like, let me show you a map. It's right here, this one. Like this, you are going to see that in the actual map, in the one that I'm going to show you, it's falling snow. Okay, check this. How you can get that snow falling, okay? Just 1 second. It's loading. It's taking a little bit of time, guys. Okay, so if you check here, the water is in rainy, and it gives me this specific effect that looks like snow. And the way it works is actually by the height, okay, guys? So I'm in altitude 81, that is considered by the game very high, so that's why I get this specific altitude with this specific cool effect that looks like I were in the snow, okay? And also you need to have a snowy place to be able to create that effect about some snow falling, okay? Now let's move back to the game, to the one that we are learning how to create. I just wanted to show you that trick because I think it could be important as we are doing a winter game. I didn't realize that I didn't realize that I can do that in that moment when I create the map, so that's why I don't have that, but I would love to have that one, but I forgot completely about that on that time, okay? Now, once more, I highly advise you to get it in sunny. It's going to be faster. Monster spawn is going to be completely off, guys. Gravity, remember you can place a different gravity. I always keep it on mine, depending of the game, on 7 or 8. On this one, as we don't want the players to move by the walls very quick, I just going to place it in 1. I turn off the damage switch for this one. We don't want the players to receive damage by falling. And the machinery here, it's going to be completely off. Why, guys? Because remember that in this game we are not going to use cars, so we don't need that, okay? Now, The map rules are going to be very important, guys. Once more, I always advise you to get the start introduction very easy, okay? So for the start introduction, just put simple descriptions. Once more, remember you can activate this to be able to show that. The first one is going to be the screenshot. I'm going to update as the art style for the map change. Okay. So let's do this. I'm going to move to the area that I want to take the screenshot with. And is going to be this area. I'm going to put my character here. And then I'm going to retake this, okay? As an example, you see that your introduction is going to change. Okay? And put a simple description, guys. Be sure that you reduce the description a lot. Don't use too much text here, because the players doesn't like to read too much in main word, okay? So build your stronghold defenses 2 minutes. There is something very short. You don't have to read too much, okay? That's the first instruction. Remember, in this, less is more. If you put a short text, it's going to be better for your game. The second one says, it shows a score area and says enter to the enemy score net to get a goal, to get a point. And the third one is telling me that the first team with 2 points win. So before it was like 2 different rounds. For now I only put 1, so that can be deleted for now. And that's it, okay? So in options, you are going to put host opens, join gaming process on, because, well, if you don't put this, probably the players are going to be stuck. Remember that we got a lot of newbie players that just access to the map and they just exit on that specific moment. So probably when you start the game and players start to exit, that's going to be a little bit boring for the players. So I always, and this is for all maps, advise you to design your map to have this option available, okay? Counting, it's going to be 3 seconds. You can place wherever music you want it. Of course, you can place also no music. Background music, no, and minimum amount of players, keep it in 2, so the player only will be able to start the game in multiplayer when they have more than 2 players. Now let's move to counting, or to game target. Limited time needs to be completely off. Scores on player defeat, put everything in 0. Reach goal to win, put it in 1. Turn based needs to be off. Polluted area settings off. Reset the map when we quit the mode. This is very important, guys. Put it in reset map, because if you put this one, do not reset the map. The second options, if you destroy something in your map, it is going to be all permanent. That means that if you exit from your map and exit again, and this is activated, that part, it will still destroy it, okay? And saves player data, it needs to be off. Now for team settings, you are going to uncheck no team. You are going to check team 1 and team 2. Just change the name for it. In my case, Ragnar team is going to be the team number red. Remember, once more, the information that I place in here is the information related with the creative part. So in the beginning, guys, we learn that we are going to have like a Viking concept, a Viking concept here. So Ragnar team is, Ragnar is the name of a Viking, okay? Permission settings off, initial attribute off, initial items off, and initial appearance off. Just do the same for the second one. I put Loki team. Of course, I'm going to change this for Loki team. Okay, the team color is going to be blue. Same setups, no setups at all, just the name. Of course, I changed the players to at max 5 players. Remember that the max amount in our team is going to be team players. Okay, so that's very important, guys. Okay. All right, let me read you in the chat very quickly. Okay. So, welcome Tuan, how are you? Welcome to the class. Now, for player settings, guys, check this. we got all the information here. But most important, guys, everything needs to be turned on except this, guys. And please, if I see that any of you have this activated, I will give you less points in the final qualifications, guys. Mount operation needs to be off, so the players won't be able to summon a mount. As always, I explain this. Guys, if you put this, probably your players are going to do a lot of cheat, okay? They can exit from the map. Also, this needs to be off. 10 mode needs to be activated. For the respawn settings, you need to put a revival interval of 10 seconds. Please put it on respawn manually, revival protection 5, respawn at random point, and very important, I think the most important things here, it's to keep the items on the player, okay? I just switched this to respawn automatically, it's going to be better. And the time, okay? The time, give 10 seconds, because with that, if a player gets killed, you can have a time for the team to try to get closer to the goal, okay? Those two are going to be very important for the gameplay. The give items and the 10 seconds. Now, number of lives, just limit it, and just put off. In display settings, put different teams visible. On options, put the name display only visible to the team. Let's put better visible to all, it doesn't matter. Put don't show damage, because we don't need that actually, or well, you can use whatever here, wherever you want to put. Display settings needs to be health bar off, crosshair, put it on activated, and all the other things disactivated. Version settings, put default camera. And in initial state, you can put whatever you want it. As an example, you can have the same options that I got here. The only important thing is that we are going to create an item, okay? So that item will allow us to choose our classes. That will allow us to choose whatever class we are going to use. And put your store and whatever that are going to be permanent items on here, okay, on initial items. This is the inventory and this is the bag. Okay, so this item will allow us to choose the class, so that's very important. In initial appearance, completely off, and in experience mode, it's going to be completely off, okay guys? And with this, we finish the second part of our classes. And what happened when we finish a part of our classes? We receive a code, okay? Thank you so much for watching this chapter. Remember, next chapter will be in the channel, so just check the next part of the video. It's the part number 2. Bye bye!